If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my child. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause that flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died and gave their right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend us still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Home and see and visit with family and friends, and I will do no wrong with my remarks today if I start off by acknowledging family. So I'll acknowledge that my wife Terry here, formerly of Royal, is joining me today. We've had a wonderful visit for the last week, spending some time with friends and family. And as an added measure to ensure that at least one person here today tells me later that I spoke well, I want to recognize my mother Ruth. After this, I am good to go. My brother Brian and his wife Tammy are here. My brother Kurt and Carolyn, I don't think they can make it today. And I'm also very pleased that my in-laws, Cliff and Sandra Hepworth from Royal, are here. And my brother and sister-in-law Scott and Becky Lawson are also joining us. And then as a great surprise, my cousin Mary Lou and her husband Gerald, who traveled here all the way from southern Missouri to experience the greatest county fair in the world. She may be the family member that has traveled the furthest to be here, and I don't think she came here just to hear me, but good to see him. What a morning, huh? A magnificent and appropriate parade, inspirational performance by the bands, presentation of colors, singing of our national anthem, reciting the pledge, honoring our fallen soldiers, and an appropriate invocation. All symbols and appropriate ceremony that involve much planning and volunteering of time and talent by many. So please join me in a round of applause for all those who helped make this event. I watched that band. They were particularly impressive. I happened to be right behind them. They were dodging mud puddles and kept the instruments going, and they never missed a beat. It was an impressive feat. So I was really pleased to see them this morning. Before I go any further, and I know that we already stood up during the medleys, but today is Army Day, and I told Joan what a great opportunity for me to be able to participate in honoring the Army. And I think she has a series planned over the next few years to honor each service. But we're going to highlight the Army today. So I want to ask all the veterans to stand. So let's do it in order. If we stand up with the Army veterans, please. Marines, Navy, all the rest of you, please just stand. One more time. Everybody in the room, thanks very much. Give another round of applause. Thank you. What a pleasure to be here with you, celebrating and honoring our veterans. We're here today to remind one another of our history and the sacrifices made by those who served in peace and war, to defend our great nation, and we're also here to pay our respects to those who serve today to guard our great nation against current and future enemies. Throughout our past, from time to time, America's service members have joined in battle to bring order from chaos and restore peace and ensure liberty. As a country, while we pray for peace, we stand ready to fight. Today in this convention center, we sit safely. The air is soft and crisp. The sun will soon be bright, we hope, and the day is calm. But also today, in other places, places and countries across oceans and other continents, they're less safe, where our enemies threaten order and peace. The air is likely dense with smoke, filled with the cries of men, the crack of rifle and artillery fire, and the bone-crushing thump of bombs being dropped from the sky. We lost a soldier in Afghanistan just yesterday. Our soldiers and other service members, supported and supporting one another, are engaging our enemies in close combat. When one soldier falls, another takes his place, or her place. Gradually, bravely, and with great courage and tenacity, they strive to restore order from chaos. They do so selflessly, asking little in return, fighting and sacrificing for you, me, all of us. In commemoration of and as a reminder of their efforts here in Spencer and other cities, towns, and counties in Iowa, there are memorials that recognize and honor these brave men and women who have gone before those who serve today. Memorials are important, but clearly more importantly here with us and before me are the men and women whose exploits and sacrifices provided the material and foundation for those memorials. Also before me are those who appreciate and recognize those who serve by honoring veteran sacrifices in many ways, great and small. Whether it is a word of thanks, a card, a letter, or donations to veterans' causes. Veterans, when I look at you, I think of the words of Theodore Roosevelt. Many of you have heard this quote before, but when he said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena." All of you veterans. I suspect I know that many of you are thinking just now, well, I was just doing my part. I was only part of a bigger effort. Everyone I served with was courageous and brave, and we were often scared and lonely. Well, everyone was scared, lonely, courageous, and brave. Many of you remember Colonel Merlin Guthelson of Royal in Clay County, an airman who earned the Medal of Honor flying an F-105 in Vietnam. His citation reads as follows. One, he was a flight of F-105 aircraft engaged in a fire suppression mission designed to destroy a key anti-aircraft defensive complex containing surface-to-air missiles, an exceptionally heavy concentration of anti-aircraft artillery and other automatic weapons. The defensive network was situated to dominate the approach and provide protection to an important North Vietnam industrial center that was scheduled to be attacked by fighter bombers immediately after the strike led by Major Dukes. In the initial attack on the defensive complex, the lead aircraft was crippled, and Major Duckson's aircraft was extensively damaged by intense enemy fire. Realizing that the success of the impending fighter bomber attack depended now on him, he was able to effectively suppress the defensive fire, and Major Duffleson ignored the enemy's overwhelming firepower and the damage to his aircraft and pressed the attack. Despite a continuing hail of anti-aircraft fire, deadly surface-to-air missiles, and counterattacks by MiG interceptors, he flew repeated close-range strikes to silence the enemy defensive positions with bombs and cannon fire. His action in rendering ineffective the defensive surface-to-air missiles and artillery sites enabled the ensuing fighter bombers to strike successfully the most important industrial target in North Vietnam without loss or damage to their aircraft. Yet, when asked about his actions, he humbly responded, "I was just doing my job." Colonel Guthelson was a veteran just like all of you, a man whose name, like all of yours, is now part of a long, proud roll call of honor of all of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines from Clay County, Iowa, and our country. For many of you, numerous summers have passed, and many Clay County fairs are distant and fading memories. Memories of days when you were younger, much younger, hardly more than boys and girls in many cases, with all of your lives before you. Yet you willingly risked everything. Why? Why did you do it? What impelled you to put aside your personal interests and desires and your personal hopes for the future? What inspired you, and what still today inspires all the men and women who serve our great country? I look at you and I think I know the answer. It was faith and belief. It was loyalty and love. Faith that you were in the right and doing right. Faith that you served and sacrificed to restore order from chaos, peace from war. You all knew that our country's ideals and values were worth sacrificing and fighting for, and if necessary, dying for. In the words of Ronald Reagan, our country is worth dying for and democracy is worth dying for because it's the most deeply honorable form of government yet derived by man. All of you loved liberty. All of you were willing to fight tyranny, and you knew the people of your country were behind you. Those soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines in harm's way today, those I reminded you of at the beginning of my remarks, must know, or at least sense, that here today in Spencer, Iowa, at the Clay County Fair, we stand behind them, support them, and honor their service and sacrifice, just like we honor those of you who have gone before. When war and conflict is over, and peace is restored, in our attempts to assure continued peace, we must constantly remind ourselves, like we do here today, of those whose sacrifices made it possible for us to enjoy our freedoms and our continuation of our great republic. Today, our country supports and maintains our men and women under arms in the respective services for one primary purpose: to protect our way of life and ensure that continuation of our republic. Sadly, it seems that we need constant reminder of the necessity to be ready to protect the peace, and we learn over and over the bitter lessons from war and conflict. The lesson that it is far better to be ready to protect the peace than to rush to respond only after chaos and war breaks out. I have but one simple request of you, that you, all of us, continue to pray that one day peace will come and be sustained. But until that day, at least for the here and now, in Spencer, Iowa, at the Clay County Fair, it's well and good that we honor our veterans, those who stood and those who are standing watch over all of us. God bless each of you, each of our veterans, and thanks for your support. God bless America.
Once again, thank you, Major General Allen Batschelet. And he will be speaking again this afternoon at 1 o'clock in the 4-H building. Also, later today at 2:30, Spencer area native, retired Brigadier General Oscar Allen Hurt will be doing a book signing. He is the author of The Sky is the Limit, From Cloud Buster to Cloud Chaser.